If you garden with kids, pets, or backyard chickens, there's a quiet risk most plant tags never mention. Some plants can burn your skin just from brushing past them in the sun. Some drop seeds so toxic a curious child or hen only needs one mouthful. And others quietly take over your entire yard, pushing out the food and flowers you actually want to grow. In this video, we'll walk through 10 toxic and invasive plants to avoid in family gardens. By the end, you'll know exactly which beautiful troublemakers to skip, and what to plant instead so your garden stays safe, calm, and productive. And we're not starting slow. The first plant looks like a giant, impressive wildflower, but it can leave scars that last for years. Picture this: you're at the nursery, kids riding in the cart. Maybe you're thinking about where the chickens will scratch this summer. You see a plant with huge leaves, dramatic flowers, or a promise of fast growth on the tag. There's no warning label, no invades your foundation or dangerous to curious toddlers and hens, just glossy photos and pretty words. Here on Family Yard Kitchen, we're all about that yard garden chicken loop, real food, small spaces and everyday families. Over the years we've poured that into 2 short guides, Veggie Matchmakers and Backyard Chicken Basics, so everything we share comes from that same careful, safety-first mindset. And there's a good reason to be careful. Plant-related poisonings make up a noticeable share of calls to poison control, and most of those involve young children. In a small family yard, every plant choice matters, so in this video we're not just asking, is it pretty? We're asking, can it spread out of control in a small space? Is it toxic to kids, pets, or chickens? Does it support or sabotage the rest of your garden? Let's start with a plant that looks like something out of a Jurassic movie, and can literally burn exposed skin on a sunny day. Giant hogweed is one of those plants that makes people stop and stare. It can tower over you with enormous leaves and huge umbrella-shaped flower clusters. For an unsuspecting gardener, it looks like the ultimate wow plant. But the sap is the problem. When it touches your skin and then gets sunlight, it can trigger a reaction that causes severe burns, blisters, and long-lasting scars. Even a casual brush on bare legs or arms while you're weeding, or kids running past it in shorts, can turn into a hospital visit hours later. In a family yard, there is simply no upside. It's invasive, hard to remove safely, and in many places, it's actually illegal to plant or allow it to spread. If you suspect you've got it, check local guidance and call in professionals. This isn't a DIY weed pulling job. The rule here is simple: if you see giant hogweed, it goes. No exceptions, especially around kids. And if you think that sounds extreme, our next plant doesn't just irritate skin. It carries one of the most infamous natural poisons on Earth, in seeds that fall right where children and chickens explore. Castor bean is stunning. Tall, dramatic, with huge star-shaped leaves in deep green or burgundy, and spiky, eye-catching seed pods. In a catalog photo, it looks like the perfect statement plant for the back of a border, but hidden inside those glossy marbled seeds is one of the most potent natural toxins we know of. Just a few seeds can be deadly to a child. Even fewer can be fatal to pets or backyard chickens who peck at whatever falls to the ground. The scary part is how attractive those seeds look. They're the perfect size for small hands and curious beaks. In a family garden, especially where chickens free range, that's not a risk you can manage with just keep an eye on them. Yes, castor oil is made from these seeds, but only after careful industrial processing that removes the ricin. That's not something to replicate at home. In a family yard, with kids, dogs, and chickens moving through the same space, castor bean belongs on exactly 0 planting plans. There are plenty of big, bold ornamentals to choose instead. And while castor bean is dangerous if eaten, the next troublemaker doesn't need to be eaten at all. It just quietly creeps under the fence and starts owning your whole yard. Running bamboo is the classic, seemed like a good idea at the time plant. You imagine a peaceful, green wall, waving in the breeze, blocking the street or the neighbor's clutter, and at first, it delivers exactly that. But underground, those running rhizomes are on a mission. They don't respect fence size, property lines, or your raised beds. In just a few seasons, bamboo can pop up 10, 20, even 30 feet from where you planted it, through lawn, under fence size, and into the exact sunny patch you were saving for tomatoes or a kid's play area. In small family yards, that's devastating. Suddenly, you're spending weekends cutting canes, digging roots, and apologizing to neighbors. Professional removal can cost a lot of money, and even then, one missed rhizome can start the whole invasion again. If you love the look of bamboo, choose clumping varieties in large containers on patios or decks, or go with safer privacy options like arborvitae, lilac, or boxwood hedges. Because while bamboo steals space, our next plant steals comfort in a very personal way. through rashes that can last for weeks. Leaves of 3, let it be, is great advice, but only if you recognize those leaves. Poison ivy often sneaks into fence lines, back corners, and the edges of wooded areas, looking like just another vine or weed. The danger is in the oil, found in the leaves, stems, and roots. Even a light touch can cause an intensely itchy, blistering rash that can last for weeks. The oil sticks to garden tools, gloves, boots, and even your dog's fur, meaning you might react without ever seeing the plant. Burn it by accident, and the smoke can carry that oil into your lungs, which is a medical emergency. For families, this isn't a plant you shrug off as just part of nature. Kids playing hide-and-seek, helping collect eggs along a fence, or crawling through a secret fort are exactly the ones who will brush against it. If you find poison ivy in or near your garden, suit up with gloves, long sleeves, and eye protection, or hire professionals if it's widespread, and never intentionally leave it in a wild corner where children or chickens pass through. Now, not every danger is so obvious. Some plants look like normal trees but behave like invasive weeds with a chemical twist that can sabotage your whole garden. With a name like Tree of Heaven, you'd expect something graceful and benign. In reality, this tree behaves more like a determined weed. It grows fast, shoots up everywhere, and produces thousands of seeds that blow into every crack and corner. Its roots are aggressive enough to interfere with sidewalks, foundations, and septic systems. And, like black walnut, it releases chemicals into the soil that suppress other plants, leaving bare patches where your vegetables or flowers should be. In a small family yard, a Tree of Heaven can quietly turn that sunny corner you pictured as a kid's garden or chicken dust bath into a zone of constant suckers and struggling plants. Cut it down once, and the stump often responds by sending up a whole thicket of new shoots. The best strategy is early detection. Learn to recognize the seedlings and pull them while they're small. If you've inherited a mature tree, plan for a long-term removal and replacement process with a genuinely friendly shade tree.
Speaking of climbers that don't play nice, the next plant looks like an old-world postcard on a brick wall, but it can literally pull down fence size and poison your flock.
English ivy draped over brick or a wooden fence has that romantic, secret garden look, but under that charm, it's a powerhouse of quiet damage. The little rootlets along the stems cling tightly to surfaces, trapping moisture against wood and brick. Over time, that can contribute to rot, crumbling mortar, and expensive repairs. On fence size, ivy adds weight and can eventually pull panels down. On trees, it's even worse. Ivy climbs the trunk, wraps up into the canopy, and blocks light from reaching the tree's own leaves. The tree weakens, and branches become more likely to fail in storms. At ground level, ivy forms a dense mat that smothers wildflowers, beneficial ground covers, and any small plants you wanted kids to help grow. Parts of the plant are also toxic to pets and chickens, which makes it a poor choice around free-ranging flocks. If you love vines, try safer options like native honeysuckle or clematis on sturdy supports and keep them pruned. Save your fence size and trees for the long haul, and if you're dreaming of a sweet cottage-style trellis, be careful what you let climb it. Our next plant looks adorable on a seed packet, but can turn your veggie beds into a knotted mess. Morning glories have that classic storybook charm. Heart-shaped leaves, cheerful trumpet flowers opening each morning in blues, purples, and pinks. It's easy to imagine them twining gently up a fence behind your tomatoes, but in many climates, they're far from gentle. Morning glories grow quickly, wrapping tightly around anything they can reach. In a small vegetable bed, they can strangle young tomatoes, beans, or corn, reducing airflow and light and making disease more likely. The real catch is the seeds. A single plant can produce hundreds of seeds, and many of them can stay viable in the soil for years. That means even after you pull the vines, new seedlings keep popping up season after season. If you want something for kids to train up a trellis, consider pole beans, peas, or nasturtiums instead. They grow fast, they're edible, and they're much easier to pull when you're done. And if you still like the idea of dripping purple blooms, just wait until you hear what an overgrown wisteria can do to a pergola. When wisteria is in full bloom, it looks magical, long cascades of purple or white flowers hanging from an arbor or pergola like a floral waterfall. It's the kind of image that sells a lot of garden magazines, but behind that beauty is a very serious vine. Wisteria becomes woody and incredibly strong. Its stems twist around posts, rails, and even tree trunks, tightening over time. The weight of a mature wisteria can pull down fence size, warp handrails, or collapse a lightly built pergola. Underground, the roots spread and are hard to fully remove once they're established. Above ground, it needs regular, heavy pruning to stay even somewhat in bounds. For families with chickens, the seed pods and seeds are toxic if ingested. Fallen pods around a patio or near a run are a quiet but real risk for curious hens. If you already have wisteria, invest in strong supports, strict pruning, and keep it well away from chicken coop areas. If you're starting from scratch, consider gentler vines or flowering shrubs instead. But structural damage and toxic pods aren't the only sneaky problem. Some trees quietly poison the soil itself, reshaping what you can grow for decades. A mature black walnut tree can be beautiful, broad shade, a strong trunk, and a sense of permanence. Unfortunately, it also comes with a chemical side effect called juglone. Juglone is released by the roots, leaves, and husks of black walnut and can be toxic to many common garden plants. Tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, some berries, and even ornamentals like azaleas often struggle or simply fail within that root zone. Plants can yellow, wilt, or just refuse to thrive, leaving gardeners puzzled until they learn what's in the soil. For a family trying to grow food in a small yard, that's a major limitation. A single tree can quietly steal the best sunny spot for your raised beds, and even if you cut it down, the leftover roots can continue, affecting nearby plants until they fully decompose. If you already have a black walnut, focus juglone-tolerant crops like corn and beans nearby, and place your most sensitive vegetables in raised beds well away from the root zone. And if you don't have one yet, choose a different shade tree. There are plenty that won't argue with your tomatoes. We've talked about dramatic dangers and big trees. Let's end with something a lot more humble, an herb that seems harmless, but in a small yard it can quietly take over the whole show. Mint smells amazing, tastes great in tea, and looks innocent in that little nursery pot. It seems like the perfect beginner herb. The catch is how it spreads. Mint sends out underground runners that pop up feet away from where you planted it. In a raised bed or small in-ground patch, it can quickly crowd out other herbs and even invade nearby vegetable rows. Before long, everything smells like mint, whether you wanted it or not. The good news, mint itself isn't the toxin here. The problem is how it steals space from the foods you want your family to eat and your chickens to enjoy as treats. In a tiny garden, every square foot counts. The fix is simple and reliable. Mint lives in containers only. Put it in a pot on the patio, on a step, or even sink the pot into a bed with its drainage holes blocked from the soil. That way, kids can still harvest leaves for lemonade, and your basil, thyme, and veggies keep their own space. Now that we've covered what to avoid, let's zoom out and talk about how to feel confident every time you bring a new plant home. So, those are 10 toxic and invasive plants to avoid in family gardens, especially if you're sharing that space with kids, pets, and backyard chickens. Some of them threaten your health directly, with rashes or burns or poisonous seeds. Others threaten your time, money, and sanity by invading your beds and creeping under fence size. A few quietly poison the soil or smother trees, shaping what you can grow for years to come. The big takeaway is this: a safe, productive garden isn't just about what you plant. It's just as much about what you choose not to plant. Before you bring home something new, ask 3 quick questions. Is this plant invasive or restricted in my area? Is it toxic to kids, pets, or chickens if nibbled or touched? Does it support the kind of garden we're building here? A calm, small-space yard that feeds our family and fits our flock? When you filter your choices through those questions, you avoid years of battles with roots, rashes, and surprise vet or doctor bills. Instead, your yard slowly turns into a place where kids can help harvest, chickens can forage safely, and you can relax, knowing the plants around you are working with your family, not against it. If you'd like help designing that chicken-safe, family-friendly garden from the ground up, our little guide Backyard Chicken Basics walks through how to connect your coop, compost, and garden so they all protect each other. And if this video helped you, feel free to tap like, share it with another gardener who has kids or chickens, and check out our next video where we'll talk about what to plant instead, the truly kid-friendly and chicken-friendly plants that earn a place in your family yard kitchen.